Movie Wars.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Movie Wars podcast.
Woo!
I'm your host, Kyle.
I'm Seth.
And we have an amazing guest today. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm James Holiday.
One of our amazing Nashville comedians going worldwide. How you doing, buddy?
A little bothered, a little bewildered, a little confused.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Love those glasses, though.
Thank
Dude,
you.
I
do
noticed
like-
immediately.
Glasses are my thing.
As a glasses wearer, I thought I had one, then I saw those, and I was like, I don't. I don't. My glasses game is suffering.
We'll get you there.
Please.
Yeah, the other options were really fun, but they're a little too tinted for this sort of thing. It's like, oh, heroin chic.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes, one of our great Nashville comedians, and you've been busy, man. You're producing shows everywhere. You got shows everywhere.
Yeah, we're trying to find the best place. The show's now called House of Holiday.
Nice. That is such a good name for a show.
Yes.
Well, it came about because just everybody online, it was like, will you be my aunt? Will you be my uncle? Will you be my dad? I mean, it's really, I was like, everybody's welcome in the House of Holiday.
Hell yeah.
And so that's the name of all the shows that I'm doing for 2025. And then we just finished the chorus of the single for that song. We're to finish the verses.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so we're doing music, we're doing comedy, we're doing social media. And I work in aesthetics part-time, and I'm a retired teacher.
There we go.
It's amazing.
Always hustling.
It's amazing you find time for your daily. I always look forward to your daily social media update when you're walking.
That's just every morning, getting up, no coffee, totally unfiltered. I just wake up,
Yeah.
mist myself with spring water, and
Amazing.
figure out, am I just going to be in my t-shirt and shorts I slept in, or put on a cute robe, or just...
Do you use that like Evian mister? Have you had one of those before?
It's a French spring water, but it's like okay.
Okay.
But it's
Hell
not
yeah.
Evian.
Yeah.
Yeah, if y'all want some solid entertainment every single day, follow James Holiday on Instagram. It is absolutely wonderful.
James Holiday comedy on all platforms.
There we go.
You're gonna get an update every morning. Maybe I love the robe ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love the robe.
Yeah.
The Versace robe is always a hit.
Yeah.
I'll save that for special occasions now.
There we go.
Well, speaking of robes, I can name 300 naked Spartans that could use a robe.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about 300 today.
Woo! Probably. I mean, this, and I think, I guess Dawn of the Dead are probably Zack Snyder, or I guess Watchmen too. Those are like the trifecta of great Zack Snyder movies.
You know, we talk about, and I think about this a lot, just, you know, because I look at movies through the lens of the idea of cultural touchstones.
Yeah.
Because in the age of the internet, and everyone's divided. When I say divided, I don't mean just politically, but I mean people literally, like, you go out and you follow who you want to follow on Instagram. You listen to the podcast. You stream the movies you want to stream. We've literally crafted our own lives and neighborhoods. And like we've, 20 years ago, like you went to see the movie with your friend. Like remember when Anchorman came out, you couldn't go 5 minutes without someone cracking an Anchorman joke at the water cooler at work.
It was awful.
This movie was one of the last great water cooler moments.
Oh, 100%.
Not that says what I think about the movie personally, but as a culture, it was almost you were shamed. Like, you haven't seen 300 yet.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, that's the thing, like, because 2 years before the final Lord of the Rings had just come out, so we had that massive phenomenon in fantasy. But then 300 comes out in 2005, and it and Lord of the Rings have become the two genre-defining movies of fantasy, where you have some fantasy movies like Narnia or the D&D movie or even the Clash of the Titans movies that really try to emulate the visual spectacle of Lord of the Rings. But then you have the other side where you have movies like Immortals or Conan the Barbarian with Jason Momoa that really try to emulate the look and the feel and the slow motionness of... And we look at today, and like I said, it's just those are the only two types of fantasy movies that come out at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and it absolutely, and it's what's wild is that this is based in, I'm not going to pretend to be a historian. I'm very much like choose your own adventure with history. Like there's like just segments of like philosophy or maybe certain like areas of history that I'm interested in. But when you talk to historians in my research and people I've talked to, like this before even this movie came out or before the comic came out in 98, this story is beloved by people who love history.
Oh, yeah.
The Battle of Thermopylae.
Absolutely. Yeah. I remember hearing it all the time when I was in middle school and high school. Like, yeah, this is one of the most talked about. And I guess it's not even like a myth. Like, we know it happened, but it kind of has reached like mythological proportions of how the story gets told.
And what's wild is that like it was such a big deal when it came out, and it was such like you got throttled if you hadn't seen it. But what I didn't realize that posthumously doing my research, this movie actually did have like an undercurrent of controversy to it.
Oh, yeah.
But it because it was, verge of internet, pre-social media, that I don't think we ever heard about it. But in my research, like because of the Persians, the way the Persians are treated, because that becomes Iran.
Yeah.
Right. And this was 2008, 2007, right?
So, this was like 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
So like we're really close.
Yeah.
We got the war going on overseas. And so then Iran actually, this movie wasn't allowed to air at all.
I'm not surprised.
And then obviously, how do you say his name? The Hunchback?
I don't know the actor's name.
I'm trying to remember. I can never say his name correctly, but Ephialtes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Ephialtes, I think.
Ephialtes. And he...
I feel titties.
Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
Sorry.
That's a great way to put it.
Don't ever apologize for titty jokes.
And what's funny is that that's a real story, but the real person was a shepherd, not a deformed person. But then the choice to make him a hunchback, and he becomes the reason, he becomes the betrayer.
Yeah, the Judas.
Yeah, that was a huge controversy because, I mean, and I don't even think we use this term a lot in public culture then, but ableism was the word that was thrown around.
Was that a graphic novel thing, or was that just the movie?
No, in a graphic novel too.
Okay.
That was a Frank Miller decision.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, how did you experience the film when it came out?
I saw it on IMAX.
Really?
Oh my God, yes, that would be so
So
good.
you saw the abs right there.
Oh yeah, the abs were as big as me. I was dead.
I am the left ab.
And I went with my straight best friend who looks like a WWE wrestler.
Nice.
So it's always funny when we walk into a room. It's like, oh, we know who the woman is. But if shit goes down, he's great.
Yes.
Because he can actually body slam people. So
Yeah. Did you like it? What did you think about it when
I loved it, man.
Yeah.
We went through the popcorn, the whole bit. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely missed it in theaters, but I saw it in college and just absolutely.
You weren't old enough to get into an R-rated movie back then.
I was 13, so I could have with an adult.
Like, please God, let my balls drop.
I've had a beard since I was 15. Thank you very much.
Nice. That's not. This is my beard.
I've been this height since I was 12. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Early bloomer.
Yeah.
It's amazing you didn't. Did you like dunk a ball for your friends?
No, everyone thought it was going to be really tall, and then I just stopped at 5'11".
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the best athletes, and that's what happened in my high school. All the best athletes, like they were like, oh my God, they're giants, and then they turned 16, and we all turned 16. We're like, oh, he's just normal, dude.
Yeah, I think that's where my distrust of doctors came from. Is they told me I was going to be really tall. They told my older sibling that they were going to be really short. They're 6'1", I'm 5'11". I'm just like, come on, guys, like,
Yeah.
come on, just tell the truth. You don't know.
So how do we feel about, because this was interesting for me. I hadn't watched this movie in years, and I did talk about on another Zack Snyder podcast that I was not a great fan of this movie when it came out.
Yeah.
I just, and really mostly it's with the visual representation.
Sure.
Even though I think it was very innovative, the slow motion, the green screen, I also thought the novelty wore off relatively quick.
Oh, I disagree.
At the time, that's how I felt personally. But at the same time, in my rewatch, I actually, one thing I noticed this time that I just wasn't smart enough to perceive the first time, but this movie, although I do think there are some moments where the blue screen and all the things kind of wears thin, there are moments that produce insane visuals that are like,
oh, absolutely,
like like painter-esque. Yeah.
I mean, it's based on a graphic novel, and one thing I do know about Zack Snyder is when he does have source material for his visuals, he's going to stick to that as closely as he can.
Yeah.
We've seen it in Watchmen. We saw it with his Batman and Superman stuff. Like there are very classic visuals in, especially the Frank Miller graphic novels and comics that he sticks to. And I think he probably did that the most.
Yeah.
Like literally every other frame looked like a frame straight out of a comic book.
Well, he says on the commentary and in multiple interviews, he did not even want, this is literally what he says, I didn't want to adapt 300. He's like, I wanted to put motion to what was on the page.
Exactly.
And that was his actual goal.
Yeah, and I think he nailed it. I think, again, like, say what you will, it may not be your taste as far as like how the visuals are taken, but he beautifully recreated the idea of a graphic novel, and like he said, put motion to those visuals.
Yeah.
Like so well.
And the violence was fun. I mean, like my husband who doesn't like violent movies, this was easy to digest because it was almost like cartoon violence.
Yeah, none of it was gross. Sure, it was gory. Sure, there was blood, but none of it was like over the top. Let's pull their entrails out and let's like cut their face in half and see their brains. Like it was very clean for what it was.
Well, a lot of that's because they didn't have the budget to do that. I mean, they did this on a $65 million budget.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and the only way they did it, they got done filming in 60 days.
Insane.
And they knew, they were like, we cannot do an epic because they were calling it epic because of Gladiator, the success of Gladiator.
Yeah.
All these sword and sandal spinoffs, all these they redid Clash of the Titans. They were redoing all these movies.
The Eagle with Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Ooh, so bad. Name 3 good Channing Tatum movies.
I can't.
Magic Mike XL, and Magic Mike: The Last Dance.
And Magic Mike Goes to Rehab.
Yeah.
And this is from straight people.
I will say I do love the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies. Those are so good.
Yeah. But it's they were like, we can't do this story for 65, and that's why Zack Snyder, because actually Michael Mann was at first, it's funny, we talked about Collateral last week.
Yeah.
Michael Mann actually was working on making a movie about the 300, about the Battle of Thermopylae. But they weren't willing to greenlight it because they just didn't know how the budget lined up with this story.
Yeah.
And that's when Zack Snyder became the perfect person because he had this innovative idea. Even though it hadn't permeated yet in culture, like they knew that like if anyone can make this happen at a small budget, it's going to be Zack Snyder. So he did 2 test screenings where he did an arrow scene and a battle scene and submitted it, and they said, okay, we'll give you $65 million if the whole movie is this.
Now that I think about it, that's actually not a terrible budget for what they were doing because each Lord of the Rings movie was made for $94 million, under $100 million, and they're way more practical effects, practical like things driven than this one was. So actually, now that I think about it, that's not a terrible budget for a movie like this because Robert Rodriguez has proven to us that you can make really good quality digital green screen movies for very little money.
Yeah.
So yeah, 65, now that I think about it, for what they did, comparing it to like, we'll say Fellowship of the Ring, like, yeah, it's actually not that crazy of a difference in budget.
Yeah.
How much did they spend on Snow White?
Yeah, like $200 million.
Oh my gosh. And it made...
And Wonder Woman can't sing, so
I think it barely cracked $100 million.
Oh my gosh. And that's global.
Yeah, global.
Yeah.
It's to the point that they have now halted production on all the rest of the live action remakes that they were going to make because they're just like, we can't keep doing that. I love that meme that's just like, we owe Rachel Zegler a debt of gratitude.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to actually come up with original ideas. What a concept.
What?
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Who knew?
Maybe you're outnumbered 300 to whatever. How many are there? Like a million? Went the Persian army like over a million strong? I can't know.
That was the legend.
Maybe you're outnumbered big time.
Maybe you don't want to watch sexy men.
Yeah. Share Movie Wars. If you would have shared Movie Wars, you wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah.
Xerxes was shaved to the T, by the way. Robert, the guy that played him, he had to shave his entire body. It was,
that queen.
Yeah, I know. Glistening. If you want to glisten like Xerxes, share Movie Wars. Thank you.
And probably buy some body oil.
Yeah. I've seen go-go boys like him.
I do love the fact that the Xerxes that we see in this movie is technically supposed to be the Xerxes in the story of Esther from the Bible.
Oh, really? Is that where you got
it's the
the inspiration?
same king. Because, well, no, that is historically the same dude.
Okay.
Because that was when the Persians had taken over Israel right after King Darius, which is when the whole story of Daniel and the lion's den happened.
Oh.
So then the next king is Xerxes. So just historically in the timeline, this is the same fucking dude who did the whole Esther story where she basically like seduced him to save Israel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, same dude. Just next time you read that Bible story, y'all, put this visual of Xerxes in your head.
I don't think any woman was seducing Xerxes.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to it later in the categories, but my favorite character design is Xerxes.
Absolutely. 100%.
It was
that moment where everyone's carrying his litter and there's like 50 people carrying that gigantic litter and he just steps down the stairs and then the 3 or like the 6 guys like kneel so he can step on their backs. What a moment.
Yeah.
Have you ever stepped on a man's back?
Yes. We'll leave it there, but yes. Okay.
that summer in the Chinese massage parlor.
Absolutely. I got quite the education that summer.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're a Spartan, I literally, this is what went through my mind. If I was Leonidas, I would be like, who's this jerk off? It's like with this fucking this silver mantle and the piercings. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is going on?
I do love the height difference between Gerard Butler and Xerxes. Like, he just looks like this 7.5 foot tall giant, and Gerard Butler is just like 5'5", like Tom Cruise height. Just like, what's up?
Isn't there a professional sports team called the Spartans?
I think so.
Michigan State College.
Okay, so college, yeah.
And I'm sure there's been like XFL teams,
Yeah.
you know, like minor league.
Well, I mean, there's also Sparta, Tennessee. There's Sparta, South Carolina, or Spartanburg. Like, yeah, there's lots of cities in the U.S. that are named after the Spartans.
Yeah.
Because there was what's the football thing in college? There's like a college thing.
The trophy?
Yeah.
I don't know. You would know.
Oh, I only watch the NFL.
Oh, okay.
I don't care about college. Until...
I got in trouble because I said their helmets look like weed.
Love it.
And all these people came for me like, no, it's something else. I'm like, how do I know? I said, it just look like weed.
It's a palm tree.
The questions.
The questions.
So is Theron really just walking into this council meeting with his Xerxes coins in his girdle?
Clearly, he's not the smartest motherfucker.
What is happening?
Can we just talk about, first off, how he looks like a really skinny Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
God.
the whole time I'm watching this, I'm just imagining him with a Boston accent, just being like, this will not be fast, okay? You're not my queen. Like, just in a weird Boston accent. Like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, that might be Dominic, because Dominic West was in The Wire, so you might be thinking Baltimore too. The Baltimore.
I've never seen The Wire, so
he's incredible. In
nice.
It. I mean, that's kind of what people associate him with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually thought he did really well in this role. But
100%.
I saw those coins hit the ground. I'm like, what?
I mean, it's remember, at this point, they're telling the story as if it's mythology. It's a legend. It's David Wenham telling it a year later, like he's trying to build the suspense. Who knows? It probably didn't happen like that, but it's a cool image.
What do you think, James? Are you going to carry your Xerxes coins into the council meeting?
No, I would have brought a different purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worn a different girdle.
Yeah.
No, if someone's bribing me, I'm going to put that in a different purse.
Are we just supposed to assume they were like under his balls? Like where were they on his person?
Where else would you keep it?
I don't know.
Cool.
I've
It's gold.
I've never worn anything
You
like
just
that.
had like a little pouch. It was like a little hobble, and you put a little thing, like a little square, and put it in there, and then you tie it off, and usually had a little belt.
Yeah, for my betrayal coins.
Yeah, wrap it around your dick and balls. Like, it's a good thing to keep you going until later that night.
I need a pretty small thread. I don't know if they made small enough thread back then.
That scene, I do really enjoy that scene, though, because Lena Headey gives a great speech during that moment. And then after he does his whole betrayal, and then she just stabs the motherfucker and says his shit right back to him. Like, that scene is so well done. Both of them do such a really good job in those moments.
That scene got her Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Her second appearance on this pod, because she did Dread too.
Yeah.
And she was amazing in Dread.
She was so good.
And a totally different.
Yeah.
You can't even recognize her. Like I actually had to see the credits.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I mostly just know her with scars all over her face.
We
You didn't
need
watch
eventually.
Game of Thrones?
I did.
I'm leaving.
James, I just got into dragons. It took me playing Witcher 3.
Yeah.
But I am opening up. I just started I'm opening myself to fantasy.
So you played Witcher for how long?
112 hours.
And he's barely gotten through the prologue.
Yeah, it hooked me. It hooked me. That was my first foray into fantasy. No, I do plan to watch it at some point, but it's a commitment. I do, and the thing is we joke all the time. We do so many movies that like it takes me 8 months to finish a show.
Yeah.
I just finished Righteous Gemstones in 8 months.
Skip the last season.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. I enjoyed it, but
it's so dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the battles,
Visually.
Yeah.
I will say that we eventually do need to do the 1994 Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book. Because Lena Headey, a very young Lena Headey, is in that. John Cleese, Sam Neill,
Carrie
Elwes, Jason Scott Lee, like it has got one of the most stacked casts I've ever seen. But seeing all of them back in the early 90s, like it's so cool.
I can't believe Lena's been around that long.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I think she was like late teens, early 20s during that one.
Doesn't it feel like the Spartans would be regular guests on the Joe Rogan podcast?
Oh, yeah.
They're
Oh, yeah.
total,
they'd be in the front row of Kill Tony.
Yeah.
These guys, these tough ass.
Joe would just be up there like, so I hear you throw the babies off the cliff. Like, tell me about that process. Like what's going through your mind when you're looking at a baby and trying to figure out if it's going to grow up to be a good man or not?
Yeah.
What do you feed them? Do you feed them elk? I like elk.
Dude, yeah. I got a Traeger. I use a Traeger.
Yeah.
Product placement. I mean, what you think? You think front row Kill Tony, like definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely WWE fan.
Oh, 100%.
Kill Tony.
Well, yeah, what is our equivalent to this today? I mean, things
The
have
Liver King.
Yeah, that's true. Sunning your balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? Your perineum, is that what they say?
Yeah.
Sunning your perineum.
Sunning your asshole.
I
Like,
have heard about sunning your asshole. I'm like,
I'm like, is
Where
that
do you have to live that you feel comfortable to have your asshole out? Like that?
somewhere with a very high fence?
I hate to think what my HOA would say.
Yeah.
That'd be a crazy letter to get.
Like, Mr. Holiday, everyone can see your asshole.
Yeah.
Again.
But they're trying to use any word but asshole.
Your waxer missed a spot.
Your sphincter. Your sphincter is, your weeds are too tall and your sphincter's out.
Check that left nut. It looks sketchy.
We see a mole on your dick, and you might want to get that checked out too.
Oh, it's not a mole.
The funny thing about this is that I was, in some of the research I did, the Comic-Cons around this time, like people were so ecstatic about this that even people that weren't jacked, like overweight people were going to these Comic-Cons.
Oh yeah, it was a whole phenomenon.
Yeah, people were. So it's like they weren't even jacked, but they were wearing the Spartan outfit.
Yeah.
So,
It gave men confidence for like 6 months.
yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Between being a customer service representative for Costco's call center and
Tons of guys had spray tanned abs for Halloween that year.
Oh yeah.
there's also a procedure now, right? They talk about it like there's a celebrity recently that got accused of it. Oh no, Oscar De La Hoya, because he's a retired boxer.
Mm-hmm.
People say he gets the ab chiseling or whatever, where they make the skin look deeper.
Yeah,
that's funny.
there's lasers that do that. I had a doctor who was trying to perfect that one time during me.
Oh my God.
I'm like, it's hot. Well, it's supposed to be hot. Not this hot, damn it.
Yeah.
And,
Years ago, Rhett and Link tested a product that was you would lay it on your stomach and go tan, and then when you took it off, you had abs
Wow.
because of the tan lines.
Oh my gosh. I would need a really strong laser to get through.
It did not work.
I'm like a ringed tree.
Yeah.
I need a lumberjack laser.
there are a few country art. I have some friends who are makeup artists, and there are a few country artists that they are makeup enhanced.
Oh,
Really?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to guess who they are.
Yeah.
Let's guess all of them. Screw this movie. Morgan Wallen.
I can tell you it's not Tim McGraw.
No.
I have met the dude, and he is fucking ripped.
Yes. Him and
Oh
his
my
wife
God.
both.
Yeah.
Jacked.
Yeah. It's kind of nuts. He is a tiny man, but he is.
Is he?
Oh my God. He's probably like 5'7".
Kenny Chesney's a tiny man.
Yeah.
And he
A
drives
lot of those people on stage are really short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very tiny.
But yeah, he is absolutely jacked. Like, it was kind of crazy to see in person.
Wide
Yeah.
open spaces. Sorry, I don't know. That's like my
That's the Dixie chick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, the chicks.
That's as much country as I can. If it's not. If
You're
it's
a resident musicologist.
yeah.
The number of times I hear that song downtown, it is awful.
You go downtown?
I work downtown.
Oh, shit.
I run sound on Broadway, so I have to pay attention to every song that's played to make sure that
God.
nothing's going wrong.
God.
It's horrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I'm dying to know where on Broadway.
He's going every
I'll
day.
say off the podcast. I don't
Okay.
want these fuckers finding me.
Stalkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I literally said something online about liking Melba toast. Someone who figured out my neighborhood brought a box of Melba toast.
Oh my God.
I found you some.
That's
And you didn't move?
nuts.
And you didn't move, I would have moved.
Yeah.
No, I love free stuff.
Free stuff, stalker. I'll take the chance.
That's why you just set up a P.O. box and encourage people to mail you shit.
I got a Glock in every room.
Ah, fair.
You want to break in my house? Go
Welcome to
for it.
Tennessee, where the gays have guns and it's a great thing.
Hey,
Yeah.
there's a gun in my drawer bag at all times.
Love it.
And
Oh
a
my
and
God.
a taser and a switchblade.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I played
I
dark.
think you've just become my favorite person ever.
I played dark bars in East Nashville late at night.
Yeah.
You're
time.
stumbling through the alleyways trying to get to your car.
Yeah.
Especially in this damn town now.
Yeah. Trying to get from the dive motel to your car. It's treacherous sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not a violent person. I don't start fights, but I end them.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Plus, I'm old. I'm too old to scrap anymore.
Yeah. You just want to end it one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just scrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to shoot
Taser
you.
to the balls and then guns ready if you need it.
Hell yeah. Like a Spartan would.
There you go.
Randos.
Gerard Butler. So he,
Daddy.
yeah, he follows us. He follows the podcast.
He does.
Shut up.
You
Yeah.
should come on the podcast, sir.
I did. I sent him a message.
Please come
on.
to Nashville.
You've liked a few things.
Yes.
You want to come on board?
VIP seating at my next show, Gerard.
There we
Yes.
As long as I have a face, you always have a place to sit.
But he does have a gun, Gerard. So don't fuck around.
go. Yeah.
Or do. I don't know.
Okay. Maybe fuck around a little. Just Glock in every room. Just you have good judgment.
Fuck around and find out. And you might like what you find.
Yes. I love it. But he actually butchered his audition. And
Oh,
he did a
shit.
horrible job. But the way he won it is he called Warner Brothers chairman at the time, Alan Horn, and he prepared this passionate speech. And I guess, I don't know if he voiced it in Leonidas' voice or what, but he basically, just by calling him and doing this passionate speech is how he landed the job, because he did a horrible audition according to him.
I feel like all he did was just call the guy and he's like, hello? And he just hears, this as Sparta.
We dine in hell.
And then that was it. He's like, all right, fine.
fine.
You've
Is
got
he
it.
British?
Scottish.
Oh, okay, close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Ooh,
awesome.
the kilt fantasy. Honey.
Oh, yeah.
Want to do Braveheart next?
Well, that'd be hot. Yeah. I went to Scotland once, and we pissed off the entire country because we were only there for 72 hours. What brings you to our lovely country? The castles, the history, the blah, 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 blah. I'm like, bitch, we're here to see Kylie Minogue. Your food is terrible.
Get the food out of the country.
Your food is terrible. There's not a VIP entrance to the castle. We're like 175,000 steps to go. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
So let's go buy a leather kilt and
Nice.
catch Kylie and have fun.
You gonna go back anytime soon?
Oh God, no. It was
Wreck
cold.
the place.
It was cold and wet.
Yeah. And that's all year round. I've been to Edinburgh. It is very gloomily beautiful, but yeah, it is very dark and very rainy. People routinely go golfing in sideways rain out there.
There are thick Scottish accents that you just cannot, even though they're technically like they share similar words with us.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I still don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're
it's how
like-
they feel about like hardcore Southerners, like
Yeah.
people from East Tennessee. They're just like, what the fuck you saying?
You from Scotland?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man!
Or from South Georgia, wherever you just kind of rumbled together, and you're probably drunk, but I don't think I am. I only
Hey.
had 17 beers. So.
Hey, you want a natty light?
Granted, with the amount of scotch they drink over there, they're all hammered, so they probably have very clear accents when they're sober, but none of them are sober.
Yes. Sorry, what were you just
I
saying?
do enjoy their whiskey, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I miss drinking so much.
Are you sober?
I am. As of
sorry.
December.
Okay.
But let me tell you about the coffee and the cigar life, man. Let me tell you.
It's a good time.
I used to love cigars. We can cigar.
Let's have one sometime.
That'd be fun.
do it.
I'm always down to smoke something.
I would love it. I don't know if you noticed this because I know that you're a little more of a Snyder fan than I am. I'm not a Snyder fan.
Yeah.
7-year-old Leonidas played by Eli Snyder,
Oh, that's cool.
his son at the time. And then I guess the uber immortal, as he's named in the cast, the enormous warrior on the Persian side was Robert Malay, who is a professional wrestler. I didn't know that, but yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's one for our spandex. And
Is that his
I bet
wrestling
McKenna
name?
knows who he is.
yeah, I wonder what his wrestling name is. Robert Miley. Maybe he's the Fillet. Miley the Fillet.
I was just watching Psych, and The Miz was on it, and he was credited in the opening credits as WWE superstar The Miz.
This one kind of not weirded me out, but this kind of took me off guard because it's all such a set.
Yeah.
You know, for example, like every time there's a rock, like they're standing on a rock, it's the same rock. They just turned it. Like there's 4 scenes with this giant rock, like the one with the hunchback.
Yeah.
Like they would just turn it.
Oh, yeah.
They
Like left over from the Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah.
literally, there's a rando for that.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff on this set, because of the limited budget, is mostly leftovers from other epic films.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised because, like, Lord of the Rings, they were very much talking about how with Minas Tirith in Return of the King, they only had so much room to build the set that it was built in a way that they could reposition the set pieces so they could set up another part of the city.
Yep.
But it was all just the same stuff. I mean, granted, at the time, yeah, like making a movie like 300 for 65 million is a very small budget. It makes sense. They're going to reuse it as much as they can and make it look different, but it's still going to feel the same because it's the same area of the world.
Yeah, so they were leftovers from, we'll just go to that rando now. So for the Spartan shields, spears, and swords, they made some of them, but a lot of them were recycled from Troy and Alexander.
I thought those looked familiar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Ooh, Brad Pitt.
Achilles! Oh, sorry. Man, Brad Pitt. And,
When did Troy come out?
Brad Pitt and that blonde hair.
yeah.
Was Troy 2004?
Let's see. I think so.
Because I guess that would make sense because they would have shot it right after that.
2004.
2004,
Yep.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember a thing about that movie, but I remember what shade of blonde Brad Pitt's hair
Yep.
was.
And the one fight outside the city walls. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
I just remember he had to quit smoking. That's when he had to like force himself because he was a heavy smoker before then. And apparently, like, to get in that shape, I mean, he's in shape in a lot of movies, but to get in that shape, he had to like really cut down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't we all?
But yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, especially, I mean, when you're dealing with someone like Warner Brothers, they whatever they still have just locked away in whatever warehouses they've got. Yeah, I'm sure they would be like, you want to save money? Cool, go have at it. Go raid the storerooms. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing happened. Like National Treasure, the snow lair in National Treasure when they're first. That's all from the Pirates of the Caribbean, all the skeletons and stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
that makes so much sense.
I guess it's a common practice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do to save money.
Especially today. Yeah. How do you like emulate LA?
Yeah.
We borrowed a building from because
we had GTA's developers come in and just make it all digitally.
because we're filming in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Because we can't afford LA anymore. It's cheaper to fly to Amsterdam and film Anyway, Gerard Butler also later recalled, he said, to quote Gerard Butler, every day somebody was getting taken to the hospital.
Yeah,
he said,
that's not surprising.
Yep, finished quote. He said, you turn around, there's guys down everywhere. A spear went in his eye. Another time, fell, broke his ankle. It was insane. Apparently, Gerard Butler himself pulled an arm tendon, ended up with foot drop, which is actually what you get like when you're a linebacker and you tear your ACL, like you get a foot drop.
Oh,
but he got that from doing this movie, which is funny. And the reason this shocked me is because I know they're doing stuff, but it's a set.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it like, how did they get hurt? Is it because they're too close together?
They're doing stunts.
Yeah.
They are the stunt team. Like, here's the fun thing. I miss the days of when like no one gave a shit and people would just get injured on movies and be like, I'm good. Just take me to the hospital. We'll come back tomorrow. Like the number of injuries that happened during Lord of the Rings, the number of injuries that happened during any action movie back then, like it's absurd when you think about it and hear about it because it wouldn't happen today. Like they'd be like, no, we'll just animate it. Like we don't want to hurt you.
Most of the fight, excuse me. Most of the fight scene. I'm sorry. Most of the fight scenes were in slow motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
But it's not. They're not moving in slow motion.
oh, so they film them in regular motion and
So
slow down.
yeah, what the way that works is the camera that we have over here can go up to I think 120 frames a second. So then you slow that down to 24 frames and it makes it look like it's shot like
Wow.
Which we're going to do for the coffee just had. We're going to like
Yeah.
there. It's going to be.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be your greatest moment.
absolutely.
Okay.
It's going to be your new promo for your
There's a
new
lot.
show.
There's a lot of lows in my life.
We're just here to continually lower that barrel in the bucket moment for you.
Yeah.
The bottom of the barrel. Barrel in the
plenty
bucket.
of-
What the fuck?
Do you know if this was shot digitally or on film?
That I don't know
Because
because
I'm pretty sure it was digital,
It has
which
to be
would.
digital.
Well, I mean, you could still do the slow motion
Yeah.
with film. The reason I ask though is because it would have been wildly expensive
Yeah.
to do that much slow mo on film.
Yeah.
because you can get like 3 minutes ish of footage at regular speed, but if you go slow mo, you're probably dropping that to like 30 seconds per reel. So it would be insanely expensive. So if this was done digitally, that would make so much more sense as to why they could really utilize that slow motion
The
feel.
fact that you can do that math in your head is astounding.
It's just stuff I studied in college. Like I just have the numbers.
Oh, so you studied film?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
very cool, huh?
Yeah.
And I mean-
I'm not just a dumb fucking comedian. I have a degree.
Yeah, don't we all?
I graduated.
He was a teacher for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And he's a comedian.
I have 2 master's degrees. Damn it.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah.
And what?
One's in vocal music education, and one's in.
There we go.
He's an onion. When you peel him, he just gets better and better.
I can sing about it and then tell you what to do.
I love it. And then put a
Amazing.
Glock in every room.
Yeah.
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 They're like, we want to arm the teachers. I'm like, too late, bitch.
We've been armed.
No,
Wait,
I,
we
I-
weren't supposed to carry guns in school? What?
I wrestled a 300-pound crackhead at my school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Those are the most horrifying videos I see lately. Like, and that's why I hate social media because like you think you're like doing movie research for the pod, and then it's like, here's a student attacking a helpless
Yeah.
teacher. It's like, why did I see that? But they're everywhere. You see
Yeah.
these. Like,
That's why I taught elementary school. If you're taller than me, I'm not teaching you.
yeah,
Fair.
yeah. I want to kick you.
And
to
he's
the
a tall
curb.
man. He's not a short man.
How tall are you?
6'2".
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
tall man. Also, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but you want to know how they got shredded? Apparently, the trainer steroids.
Definitely.
Some chiseling, some paint chisel,
Yeah.
some laser chisel. But trainer Mark Twight, I guess his gym is called Jim Jones, but a GYM.
Yeah.
Jim Jones. Oh my gosh, get
That's
out of
amazing.
here.
Well, That's so good.
Give you a great workout. Just don't drink the punch after.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave him a cult-like regimen, and that's how he described it. And he said, I took them from flabby actors to sinewy army. And he said, anybody who showed up soft or had a cheat meal got smashed, in quotations. I don't know what that means. But I do remember we talked about this cultural touchstone. Story.
When 2 men feel really close to one another.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if you get McDonald's, you're the pass around party bottom.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll,
Okay, that's
we'll
a-
teach you to get that Big Mac.
Special sauce coming your way.
You're gonna eat a Big Mac. Here's Big Mac. He's gonna take care of you.
Thousand Island. How do they name that, by the way? Thousand Island?
Who knows?
I mean, there are 1,000 islands out there just clamoring for this shit.
Maybe they named it after Indonesia.
Yeah. One of my go ahead.
That's my dad's favorite salad dressing.
Really?
Every restaurant I take it, do y'all have Thousand Island?
They're like, no, but we could put some ketchup and mayo together. We'll make you some.
We have 4 island.
Yeah.
Basically, it's from 4 different condiments. We
Yeah.
just put salt and pepper on it.
Yeah.
Times are tough. Stocks are down.
Tariffs on 1,000 islands. From all 1,000 islands, the tariffs. But anyway, he said it was a cult-like regimen. And, this is another part of how this was a touchstone. I remember, like, Men's Health magazine had the Spartan workout. I tried to do it.
Yeah.
People make fun of me because, everyone's, like, lifting weights. And I'm like,
Yeah.
doing the...
Before gay porn, we had Men's Health.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And really before Instagram, there were a huge amount of, like, men's workout magazines.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Every you go to the grocery store and there's like 15 different men's magazines out.
And because it was before social media, like, I don't know if you agree, but like it felt like we just didn't have the skepticism to think it was a scam. Like I just said, well, this is the workout this guy does.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how I get jacked. And then you find out later, like the Hydroxycut scam, the Hydroxycut lawsuit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're all, that was the big thing back then, right?
And most of the models were porn stars. I'm like, I've seen him before. Buttbusters 3.
Dan does Dallas.
Yeah.
So many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Wasn't this the same guy that trained Henry Cavill for Man of Steel?
I don't think so because the wife of that person follows us and apparently commented on one of our things. I don't know, but it's not this dude. Maybe it is.
Because I thought Zack Snyder in one of his interviews that I saw said that it was the same guy.
Could be. I mean, he did a great job here. I mean, these guys are, even though like there's like 5 real ones and then 295 CGI cut and paste ones.
Yeah.
So Henry Cavill's wife follows you guys?
Yeah. Oh no, the wife of the trainer who trained Henry Cavill. Sorry, that's less cool.
Yeah.
But Gerard Butler follows us. Pretend
That's cool.
Pretend like you didn't hear that the first time.
Yeah.
Ooh, wonder, splendor.
I'd kneel before him.
Yeah. So
oh my God.
Xerxes wouldn't.
No.
And then lastly, Rodrigo Santoro, who played Xerxes, had to shave his entire body to do this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe that's not a rando, but I just thought that was funny.
Jared Leto did the same thing for Dallas Buyers Club. Like he was
Really?
very worried his eyebrows weren't going to grow back because he had to wax them, I think, 3 times. And he was like, after the 3rd day, he was like, I don't know if they're coming back.
Yeah.
How much hair do you think Jared Leto has? Probably
Not much.
Yeah.
Not much.
He's probably like a hairless cat.
He's I know this because I love 30 Seconds to Mars and he's shirtless in quite a few of their music videos. But he's got the underarm hair, but he's pretty baby smooth on the front.
How long have you been studying the torso of Jared Leto?
Since I was 15.
This is Jared Leto's biggest fan.
I have that and a tattoo on my chest from the band. I'm seeing them in August. Can't wait.
He's got a Requiem for a Dream vinyl right over there.
I do, and all 6 30 Seconds to Mars vinyls.
This is Jared Leto's.
Wait a minute, they have 6 albums?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, since 2003.
Well, and they still haven't gotten to Mars.
Yeah, they're still 30 seconds away.
Yeah.
Come on, Elon, help him out.
Shall we build a death wall?
Let's do it.
Shall we march?
Yeah, let's use the blood of our enemies as mortar.
Yes, let's war. James, this is how it works. We got 7 categories. The first 5 are kind of standard cast filmmaking shit. The last 2 are what we call like bro categories where you're making up. They're like either to be funny for the film or they align. Yes, if you dig it, if you like it, affirmative. Sparta! You don't have to scream it, but maybe just once. Go Sparta! Just so they know. And if you didn't dig it, if you didn't like it, kneel for Xerxes, our boy Xerxes, our shaven hero.
I like it.
Our 7-foot shaven.
I'm a little surprised you didn't do Snyder Barely Know Her.
Actually, the last category, because we're gonna rank this in the Snyder echelon. Because we've covered so much damn Snyder against my behest, or to my behest, or is it against my behest?
It's
Teacher.
Yeah.
Against my behest. Behest.
But I mean, we did 1 Snyder series and 1 Snyder movie. Like it's 2 properties.
I know, but Snyder has an interesting.
He does.
You have to admit, when you look at it as a whole, it's bumpy because of all the director's cuts. Like I think it warrants us stack.
I still don't
ranking.
think that's his fault.
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it in the category. But yeah, Neil. So that's funny. The last category. So Snyder Barely Know Her. It's an old 5-year-old movie word joke. Anytime a word ends in an R, it's a barely know her.
Yeah.
So James Spader Barely Know Her. Okay, it's childish.
James Spader in the 80s, honey.
Dude.
Less than 0.
Oh,
Stargate.
It's one of my favorite books of all time.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a top 5 book for me.
Thought you said this was cool.
Although the movie is nothing like the book.
No, I've seen the movie like 15 times.
The book is tragic.
Yeah.
It's from the same. Go ahead.
It just makes you want to do less drugs.
Yeah. It's from the same author. It's American Psycho, his first book.
Okay.
He was 17 when he wrote it. Yeah.
There's stories to be told there.
It's not very long. You should read it. If you want to, like, a pick me up, right?
Yeah. LA in the 80s, honey.
Lovely.
Yeah. That's why I love Bret Easton Ellis. I'm reading Glamorama right now, man. It's just good shit. All right, top bill cast. And for us today, that's Gerard Butler. That is Lena Headey, and that is David Windman.
I mean, all three of them, absolutely love them. We got David Wenham from Lord of the Rings. That's where he got his big start. Probably wouldn't have gotten this had he not been Faramir in Lord of the Rings. Lena Headey, done some stuff, but this was really her breakout role. Like, this really is what put her on the map for people. Obviously, Gerard Butler. Now, did he do anything of note before this? Like, anything that big? I know he's been acting for a while, but I feel like he hadn't really carried a movie like this before.
I got him pulled up now. The oldest movie I can find before this, Beowulf and Grendel. But a lot
the
of
CG one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
The Game of Their Lives. The Phantom of the Opera. He was the Phantom.
That's what it was. So
Yeah.
that was his breakout role.
That was his big
This really solidified him as a household name. I feel like this is what made put him on superstar levels.
Dracula 2000. He was Dracula.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Which
that
I
was
did
a
not
good-
like
yeah.
because I am a Dracula fan.
I still haven't seen it.
It's not that good.
Yeah.
It's
good to know.
It's a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I've seen all the Dracus.
But yeah, obviously Sparta, everybody did their fucking job. Everybody committed to the characters. I like that they didn't try to make everyone change their accents because as this is just kind of a retelling of a story, I think it's cool that everybody just kept their natural voice. So yeah, I give it a Sparta. Absolutely great.
Give me Sparta. Why? What do you like about it?
I mean, you got the chick from Game of Thrones. I like her. And Gerard's abs. Sparta, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're there
and that full wide shot of his ass in the moonlight.
Yeah, we're
that
there
was-
for that. That
yeah,
whole,
great
Yeah.
moments.
He was a tender lover.
Yeah.
Which you don't expect it from that kind of guy, but
No.
Yeah.
it's always a lovely surprise.
Yeah. You never expect it from Scots in general, so.
I do. This is a squeak over for me. So Seth has a squeak over system where if he doesn't want to go full, he goes, "It's a squeak over." I've adopted the squeak over system.
It's a good system.
It's a good system. There's no mathematical reality on this show.
5.1, 4.9.
Yeah, 79 out of okay. But yeah, I it's a squeak over because I think everyone does a great job. I do think, and I think the story calls for it, but there's just no dynamic. You know what I mean? And I don't think they were asked to do dynamic, but everyone, every single actor is just very static. And I think it's good and it's subservient, but I do think one of the flaws of this movie is I just just a scotch more. Because there is an emotional element. Yes, the Spartans were warriors, they were born warriors. That's very real to the culture if you read about it. But I do feel like there was where is someone going to show a little more emotion than stoicism?
Sure, but at the same time, if you look at compare this with Gladiator, because I feel like at the time that was probably the most apt comparison you could make. Same thing could be said for Russell Crowe. He had two moods. He had stoic and he had angry. And he hit both of those beautifully, and that's what the character called for. And I think with the history of the Spartans, especially comparing them to the Athenian Greeks, who, as they say in the movie, they're the boy lovers, they're the artists, they're the poets, they're the philosophers, comparing them being emotion is the enemy of being a good warrior. I think it kind of called for it with that type of character.
And I think that's a good point. And I think what's interesting too, I like the scene with the queen when he rapes her for the power. But I read that in the special features they have historians talk about it. That was the thing. I guess the women were very strong in Sparta, and they used sex as a political tool.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's actually was very common.
Yeah,
even though it
should.
Yeah, it was shocking to see because I hated it. I was like, he's raping her, and then it's actually that was very common. They would wield sex as a way to convince politicians to do things.
There's a reason Cleopatra was able to get both Antony and Caesar. It was that was one way they could use their power, and men at the time, even today, they'll just fall for it. They'll just be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
She wants to fuck me. I guess she likes me.
Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Does Trump drop the Xerxes coin right in the city council meeting, or does he send it through his pen man?
No, JD Vance left it in the couch that he fucked.
Oh God.
Two things to note here. I do want to say Gerard Butler's intensity. My favorite part of this, I know the abs are great, the muscles, but his facial intensity.
Oh yeah.
Those slow motion, the picturesque moments, with his jaw wide open, I was like, that's convincing.
Oh yeah.
That was his facial intensity. I actually was surprised because it is a big set or medium sized set, whatever you want to say, but I did admire that. And then Lena Headey, seeing her in Dread and then covering this, like she has some massive range.
Absolutely.
She has some massive range. So.
Great actress.
So maybe you're a little more than a squeak over.
Maybe I am.
Maybe you're just a comfortable over.
I am now in Skosh territory.
There we go.
I have graduated from squeak over to Skosh. Skosh is like an 87 out of 100.
There we go.
So anyway, welcome to Movie Wars. It's 1-0, and now we got the supporting cast.
How's that spreadsheet working for you?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. All right, supporting cast. Here we go, and I'm excited to talk about this one. Dominic West, Vincent Regan, Michael Fassbender.
Yeah,
I think
I always forget he shows up in this.
I think in his first film.
Ever?
I think so.
Yeah,
that's what
early
you keep talking. I'll look.
Yeah,
we kept looking like, who is that cute guy? We know we've seen him before. Going back.
It took me a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe he was doing supporting stuff before then.
What's his big claim to fame?
Magneto.
That. Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
then Steve Jobs.
Okay.
And
yeah,
then,
I think Magneto's way more famous than his Steve Jobs.
Yeah, that movie didn't do a lot.
No.
He was in a lot of shows. He was on a Sherlock Holmes TV movie. A lot of TV stuff here. Gunpowder, Treason, and Plot.
Oh, he was in Band of Brothers. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So some minor TV stuff, which Band of Brothers was still considered TV. So, but yeah. Anyway, Michael Fassbender.
This was this was definitely his first big movie.
It was a launch pad for a lot of people.
He was in 2 movies before that. So yeah, this was really his first big budget movie.
So if you're an up and coming actor, get down to a leather loincloth.
Yeah.
Build those abs up.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Worth it.
It's great. What do you think, supporting cast?
See, here's the thing. I actually think the supporting cast stood out more than the main cast.
I agree.
I love Gerard Butler. I love Lena Headey, but all of the smaller characters, Zack Snyder did such a good job at making sure every character you needed to care about, he gave you the reason to care about them. Mm-hmm. Whether it was that father and son relationship or the son's relationship with Michael Fassbender, like every single one of them had great moments that never took from anyone else. They were always in their own moment. The guy who played the Hunchback, Xerxes, like even down to each like mini boss as they were leading up to that final battle scene. Like everybody had a really unique way to shine through without taking the stage away from anyone else. So for me, it's definitely a Sparta. Like I think, like I said, I think everyone, I like the supporting cast even a little more than them.
I kind of agree with that, yeah, because you could see the Michael Fassbender and that other young guy's son, or the guy's son. Yeah, they probably did something.
Oh yeah,
there's things going on.
I had this great idea for a movie one day to remake the story of 300. All the villains and all the women just play everything totally straight serious, but all the Spartans are just the gayest, like singing musicals and stuff, like just such a counterpart to everyone else, because I mean in history the Spartans were absolutely some of the gayest men that existed.
As was every army.
Yeah, they would be out away from their wives. They'd be like, all right, I guess we're fucking each other. Here we go.
So I think there's a gay porn parody of 300.
Oh, almost definitely.
369.
Rule 34. If it exists, there's a porn for it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Or you could just make another one exactly like it, called 150, like the 8-minute abs. Remember 8-minute abs?
Yeah.
And the way they kept selling it tapes was like, this is 6-minute abs.
Yeah.
$19.99. 3 installments for 1 minute less of abs.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a Sparta for both of us.
Cool. Yeah, I dig it. And I'm a big Dominic West fan because I love The Wire, but it was interesting seeing him here. Like, this dude brought it as is it Theron? Is that how you say it? Yeah, Theron. Really brought it, really intense, even though I hate the fact that he's, doing what he's doing to her. Even though I guess that's what they did in History. So I'm like, how do I feel about this? But I love him, and he showed some major range.
Absolutely.
I'm usually listening to him with a Baltimore accent in The Wire, so... Yeah, he does really well in that. But yeah, I love it. I love the way Rodrigo Santoro plays Xerxes.
Yeah.
I think they wanted him, the way Zack Snyder described it, as like powerful but slightly feminine. Yeah. So that he would be a good opposite of the Spartans. Yeah. And I think he does that. Like I think 100%. He really nails that.
Yeah. There, like you said, there's that just hint of a feminine energy with especially his costume design and all the jewelry and everything. But then you hear him speak, and he is just a massive motherfucker. Like, just his words, you feel like he's going to crush you.
I'm a demanding power bottom.
Yes.
No, you're not doing that right.
Okay, Daddy.
To the left.
Oh, man. Imagine I wonder how much that thing weighed. His pedestal thing.
I was like, his what?
His what? Yeah, his nose ring. I wonder how. Yeah.
It was
No,
long
it's his
and
cock.
girthy.
Behold the god.
Yeah.
About like that lightsaber over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
All right. Writing, screenplay by Zack Snyder, Kurt Johnstad, and Michael B. Gordon. Of course, Frank Miller wrote the graphic novel, created the graphic, and he also illustrated it.
Yeah. So this might surprise some people. This one's going to be a scotch over for me. Just
Oh, a
like
skosh or a squeak?
It's a squeak. It's
Okay.
definitely a squeak because here's the thing. I understand it's based on a graphic novel, and the writing for graphic novels are the simplest form you can get because the emphasis is really put on the visuals. Like the dialogue in a graphic novel is more or less a carrying mechanism for the visuals. Do I think Zack Snyder did a bang-up job translating that to film? Yes. Do I still think it's probably the most simplistic version of this type of script you could do? Absolutely. So that's why it's a squeak over for me, is because I think he faithfully, adapted the actual way that it was written. But I also think, you could have done more to make it less simplistic. You had some really good moments. Like I love the moment where David Wenham is narrating his helmet was stifling, so he dropped it, and his shield was heavy, so he dropped it. Like all of that, I felt like there were some really cool moments. But otherwise, the dialogue itself was just so simple, so bare minimum, and not in a way with like Mad Max where I think it helped necessarily. So good enough, not great for me.
Yeah, it's a definite Neil.
Yeah.
It kind of gave the vibe of like a talented 8th grader wrote the script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah, I go Neil, and I think even though it's easy to look at something holistically, as in yes, the Spartans were a warrior culture,
Yeah.
but they were still humans.
Yeah.
And there's never a moment in this where I'm like, where is just one moment of introspection, like to give me insights into humanity, and I don't get any of that here. I think it's
I felt like there was plenty of that, but again, I think that comes from the graphic novel. I don't think that was something that Zack Snyder added, because I mean, everything at the beginning where he's having his conversations with Lena Headey, that's all self-reflection and him struggling with, I am a king, but I do also have rules I have to follow. Like, what are we going to do? And so I think it was there, but I can see what you're saying. It's not to the point that it stands out necessarily.
Yeah, there's no what's a good word for it? It's so stuck in the machismo that there's no moment of like real self-reflection to me.
I mean, other than "This is Sparta," how many other lines do you?
I think
quotable
the other
quotes.
big one for me is that end one where he is kneeling, but it is because he's about to just completely start wiping the guy.
Yeah, and again, I feel this way about Zack Snyder often too. Like we talked about this a lot during the Snyder trilogy. It's just there were moments where their writing felt real high for certain characters, but other characters it felt like there was like Wonder Woman. Sometimes like, well, why did he write that? And the last one he did her so much better. You know, it's like so just uneven writing. But it's one of those things too where this movie, I will give it credit for the fact that it leaned into visuals. Yeah,
I don't think the dialogue was the most important part of this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Blood and abs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the man chiseled abs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why all the gays went to go see it.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because he's the one that told me about that, because I never thought about that until he brought it up. I was like, oh yeah, I guess.
I mean, Zack Snyder himself said this is absolutely the gayest movie he's ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
But didn't he do Superman? I mean, with Henry Cavill?
Yeah.
All right.
I would say this is way more gay than that.
When Henry Cavill's like hairy pecs were out, there were a lot of gays going, yes.
100%.
We're gonna stop lasering now. And the laser industry cried.
Our most viral video is about his chest hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
It's great. It's either like the comments we still get on it, it's half women who are just thirsting over his chest hair, or guys telling us we're fat and ugly and there's no way he did it naturally, that he was definitely juiced and we're morons.
Yeah, and we're fat and dumb. And even though
and that Drew is the gay one. So
yeah.
Oh my God. But I mean, and the whole hair, now it's like the gays all have hair, but then, those of us who grew up in the 80s and 90s, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on laser hair removal.
Damn.
And once it's gone, it doesn't come back.
Yeah.
So,
we should invent laser hair ad on Edition.
well, now it'd be gray, so no thank you.
Yeah. So
You just get
long-term thinking.
Yeah.
You just get a transplant from a supple young brunette man and you're like, okay, there we go.
Something. Got to keep the illusion.
All right, 2-1. Sparta. Okay, directing Zack Snyder.
I mean, yeah, I think he did a fucking great job.
Yeah.
Again, you look, this is one of those, and I know you don't believe source material matters. It fucking matters. You look at the source material, he did exactly what he set out to do. He set out to put motion to these images that were already there, and he nailed it 100%. So it's a definite Sparta for me. He did
Total
a fantastic job.
Total Sparta?
Total Sparta, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's that cartoony kind of thing come to life.
Yeah.
And you have hot guys with abs.
Yeah.
And Gerard's ass. If only, and to see that in IMAX.
Yeah.
You're just like, I think I could stick my head in there.
My ass.
Oh, honey, I could stick my head in there. I could stick anything he wanted in there. Multiple times. Over the weekend. In Palm Springs.
Very specific. I have a hard time with this one. I think I'm going to give this a Sparta.
Yeah.
It is a squeak over, but I do think
Sounds like it's a minor squeak over.
a minor. Yeah, this is like a 52 out of 100. So maybe even a minor squeak.
Yeah.
Squeak diminished.
Yeah.
With an augmented seventh.
Yeah.
It's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Maybe next week this time I'll get out in the sun and
Sun your perineal.
yeah. I just think Zack Snyder he gets pigeonholed. You know what I mean? And I understand that at the time this was considered an innovation.
Yeah.
But I do think he like leans so hard into those things sometimes that sometimes it loses its novel to me.
Sure, but this was the first time anyone, even him, had ever done something like this as far as the visualization of the slow-mo. Like that, no one had ever done that before. That was not a thing until this movie came out. And like I said, it feels old now because everyone else has tried to do it.
Yeah.
There's a whole half of the fantasy industry that has tried to emulate this, and they've done it shittily. And it's to the point that it's made his signature style when he does it, even though he does it good still, in my opinion, for like what he's trying to do, other people have cheapened it so much that it doesn't look like it
before
did.
The Matrix, wasn't it?
No, Matrix was 99, but even that was a very different... They didn't really utilize slow motion. What they utilized was setting up ring of still cameras that would take an image of the same thing, but from a like 270 degree perspective, so they could freeze frame and then move the camera and then continue the motion.
Okay.
So they were kind of doing something a little bit different as far as slow motion. Yeah, you had the like bend back thing, but that was really the only moment.
And that was pre-digital.
Yeah. This was the first time that you really were able to do those really intense like slow motion and then it speeds up and then slows back down again. You couldn't really do that before this without spending $80 million just on film.
I know, but I still just get tired of it.
Fair.
It's
when
a taste
when
thing.
it first came out, it was groundbreaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And seeing it at IMAX was just like, wow.
Yeah.
We were wowed the whole time.
Yeah.
People were clapping and cheering,
Yeah, it was such a novel spectacle that I can see. Again, today it's been cheapened so terribly that, I could see how everyone's just like, oh, this again? But it's like you put yourself when it came out, no one had ever done that before.
And I do, and the reason I think that pushes me over into positive territory here is that it was a $65 million budget.
Yeah.
I think he said, how can we make an epic movie on a grand story, but do it at scale, a small scale? And I do think it's impressive, even though I'm not necessarily sold on all the, like, I get tired of the novelty of it. I do think it's impressive, and I do think he deserves credit for
Yeah. Like, I could see subjectively how you wouldn't like it, but I feel like objectively, we have to understand this set the standard for 50% of these types of movies.
3-1. Those Persians are getting pushed off the edge here. No offense, modern Persians. I
love all people.
We love the people of Iraq and Iran.
Yes, we are neutral. I don't even know. You're like trying so hard to be politically correct that you just say stupid things, like worse things. You know, it's like we are. I didn't vote during the Bush era. I didn't even.
I couldn't.
I was in the Galapagos Islands.
I didn't have pubic hair yet.
Yes, it's not my fault. I hate the Patriot Act. Huh?
Oh, God.
Oh, God. 3-1. All right. What's in front of us? Cinematography, production, design, sound, costumes, stunts, editing.
I mean, again, I think we've covered this at length. Like
Sparta.
Yeah. Whether you're a squeak over or not, like this This was so groundbreaking that it's just, you have to take that into consideration. And that alone, I feel like makes it deserve at least a 5.5 out of 10. Just because, like I've said, it was one of the Citizen Kanes of the fantasy genre. Before this, before Lord of the Rings, fantasy was The Dark Crystal. It was The Princess Bride. It was Labyrinth. Like, it was kooky. It was weird. It had like really mediocre soundtracks. These two movies brought it into a place where fantasy could be taken seriously as a genre finally. So, yeah, 100% it's Sparta for me.
And you could mute it and that's stunning.
Absolutely. I mean,
and get the gist of the story and enjoy it, actually.
In the way that it is adapted from a graphic novel, in and of itself, you can take every single shot and put it as its own picture in a museum and just walk through and enjoy the visual spectacle of what it is.
Yeah.
Sound design's incredible. Like, I think whoever did the sound design for it did such a remarkable job really picking which sound effects they wanted to use, because when you're in these moments where everything's silent but you still hear footsteps and you still hear like weapons hitting the ground, but you're not hearing the screams of battle, like the way that they did it was so good. So yeah,
I have a decent sound set up in the bedroom when we're watching, but like in IMAX, the speakers are behind the screen.
Yeah.
So, and it was like the old school IMAX.
Yeah.
It was like huge. It's not that
14.2 surround sound,
but then
stereo subs.
all those speakers, it's like every little sword, you feel like they're right behind you. They're all around you.
I would love to have seen what this could have sounded like if they'd been able to mix it in Dolby Atmos.
Yeah.
Because that's 64 points of audio where they can mathematically make the sound like it's coming from right here.
50th anniversary version.
Yeah, let's hope.
Okay.
This is a movie I wish I would have seen in IMAX for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah.
There wasn't an IMAX where I grew up.
Fair.
So wherever I went.
What, in the middle of bumfuck Arkansas, there wasn't an IMAX?
No.
What part of Arkansas?
Well, I was born in Harrison, but I grew up in Rogers, Bentonville.
Because I went to school in Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Banged several Arkansas.
My dad got shot in Pine Bluff.
You what?
My dad got shot in Pine Bluff.
That's what happens when you go to Pine Bluff.
Yeah, he was a cop. He was a narcotics officer.
There's lots of narcotics in Pine Bluff.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
If you live in Pine Bluff, you're going to need to do lots of narcotics.
That's crazy, Jonesboro, man. Yeah, that's Eastern Arkansas.
Yeah. I was a wild party man there.
Yeah, it's not hard to do though.
No.
To be like, you don't have to do much to be wild party man in Jonesboro.
I had a public broadcasting on TV there. I was a DJ at a club, and then I was the social chairman for my fraternity.
There you go.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, Jonesboro. You don't have to go there.
We snorted your body weight.
Oh, that's amazing.
Allegedly. My mom might watch this.
Yeah, allegedly, Mom. I'm a scotch over here.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what wins it over for me is I do love. I'm always a sucker for, like, Nolan does this too, where there's just images.
Yeah.
And there are some stunning images, and I think, given the small scale, given that it wasn't a very big set, by all accounts of what I've read and researched, like, it wasn't a huge set. In fact, you can see it because they're never too far apart on the camera. So, and that's one thing that kind of annoys me a little bit, is like, it does get, and I think maybe when I say the novelty wears off, I think part of it too, it does have a claustrophobia to it a little bit, whereas, like, I feel like the story they're telling is big and it does feel compressed.
But at the same time, 80% of that story happens right in those cliffs.
Yeah.
So it kind of already is compact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you kind of need to feel that.
Yeah. I do, but I do just feel a little claustrophobic, but I do love the images. And I love the coloring, the intensity of the color.
That was something that a lot of people had an issue with, was actually kind of the not even washed outness, but almost the sepia tone to everything. Like, I know a lot of people who were like, that is not visually appealing. But again, it's based on the graphic novel. That's a lot of how the graphic novel looked. So he did his job there to make it visually represent what he was adapting.
Yeah, and I think given the short runtime too, it's not a long film.
No.
I think, especially, like, I think my favorite image is probably all the Spartans with the arrows and them at the end, like, and it zooms out, that slow zoom.
Yeah.
I just think there are enough moments where it was like, somebody had a keen eye here.
Yeah.
And I think even though this movie gets a lot of accolades for the slow motion and that stuff, I think the imagery, the color, I think those are the things that really shine for me.
Oh, absolutely. Let's shout out the director of photography on this one, Larry Fong.
Yes, and he invented, actually, I didn't put this in my randos because it's super nerdy, but he invented different types of lighting for this. So
that makes sense.
I think it's called the Fong.
The Fong.
The Fong, yes. Yes.
He also did one of my favorite movies, Super 8.
Yep, in Kong Skull Island.
Which was terrible.
Right.
Super 8's incredible. It walked so Stranger Things could run.
Mm-hmm. All right, next one, 4-1. To quote Mad Max, "Can you make it epic?" And we do this for all epic movies that we cover. Even though it's later, I think it's been rebranded, but ultimately this is a sword and sandal movie.
Yeah.
And it was motivated by. Oh, it's interesting too because I've heard a lot of people go two ways. A lot of people will argue that maybe Frank Miller's comic actually inspired Gladiator to be made.
I could see that.
There's a contingency. I don't believe that, but there's a contingency.
Yeah.
But I would say that Gladiator set off a chain of events that like it got wild there for a minute with all the sword and sandal movies. But
100%.
Rating this as an epic.
I mean, yeah, I think it definitely hits every mark of the idea of what an epic should be.
Mm-hmm.
The visuals, as we've been talking about. The thing that I think the slow motion did especially for it that we've never been able to do before this was like really see the nitty gritty of what was going on in those battle scenes. Because before that, you basically just had a group of dudes and the choreographer would be like, okay, everybody just run up against each other and go, with your swords or There was no real large scale choreography. And Lord of the Rings really broke that a lot because if you look at the behind the scenes of how their stunt choreographer would do those fights, he would purposefully take groups of stuntmen and be like, all right, there's 10 of you here, 10 of you here, 10 of you here. Here's your choreography. Even though you're just in the background, here's what you're going to be doing for this entire shot. Same with you, and all three of them would have unique things they were doing, but you still don't really get a sense. You don't notice it, but you also notice that like it's not just no choreography. This really lets you get into the nitty gritty of what every single person was doing in the frame, and I think it absolutely set it apart from any other epic that had come before it.
Very dance-like quality.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely, especially with the rhythm of slow, quick to the next spot, slow, quick to the next spot, like very much a dance feel to it.
It reminded me like when I saw Crouching Tiger hit and you're like all the beauty of the fight.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah. So it's a Sparta for me, 100%. This nailed the epic genre.
Yeah.
Same for you.
Hot men killing each other. Yeah.
Sure. I think what's interesting is that all the shields are plastic.
Yeah.
They talk about this. It's amazing how punishing it sounds and feels considering they're plastic, and like they did such a crazy job like with the sound effects.
Oh yeah.
I had a hard time in this category because it is so small scale compared to like a Braveheart. And it's amazing we've covered so many on this podcast, different epics, and they really are so many different flavors.
Yeah.
Because we covered the Northmen. I've covered before you came on, we did Braveheart. We've done Gladiator.
Yeah.
And there are just this category, like it really, and I think 300 kind of threw a wrench in things to say we can do an epic, but we can do it differently.
Yeah.
So I do admire for that. And I do think if I'm going to criticize Gladiator, my only problem with Gladiator was it was a little bit soapy.
Yeah.
And I would say the same for Braveheart. Even though I love Braveheart, it's a little soapy.
Yeah.
There is no soapy here. This is a straight up, if you could argue, this is almost entirely epic.
Yeah.
And I think I can't complain about one and not justify the other. So I definitely give that a Sparta here.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
The drama that was in this movie was 100% only necessary to move the story along.
Yes.
None of it was, we need tension here, so let's build some tension for some reason. No, the tension was there already. We just needed a break from the blood and guts of it all.
There was no, do you think Daryl's going to propose?
Yeah.
Which some epics do, right? Like some epics will be like, there's a lot of blood and fighting, and then it's like, I'm so in love with him, and he doesn't even notice.
Yeah.
He doesn't even notice me, even when I wear my cute tunic. He doesn't notice. It's too dramatic, man.
Yeah.
It's too dramatic. 5-1. It doesn't matter at this point, but we got one category. We just got to throw this term in here every time there's a Snyder something on this podcast. Snyder barely know her. Now, usually this was the affirmative on the Snyder trilogy, but we're doing it as a category here because he's got one of the most troubled, interesting filmographies ever.
Yeah.
When you look at the things that have happened to his movies.
He's one of the most divisive directors that's ever existed.
That's a better way to say it. Absolutely. And whether, there's really nothing objective about that. I mean, his movies will get released and he will not like that version. And this has happened more than once. And then he'll do a director's cut, which is twice as long. And
it depends. Watchmen, there was only about 20 minutes of extra footage.
But the original Watchmen was not a hated film.
No,
the original version was actually beloved for the most part. But more when you get into the Snyder trilogy is when, and then Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Is that the
But
other
again,
one?
Rebel Moon, from the very beginning, it was understood Netflix wanted a PG-13 version, but they told him, shoot what you want, just give us a shorter, little more satiated version. But then they were like, but we definitely want to put out whatever your original vision was. So I think it's like, I get it. Netflix wants as many people to watch it as many times as they can. So they want to spread it. But it's like, dude, just let directors do their shit. Let directors do the things that they want to do. And then, if I mean, we've talked about it. Every now and then a director will do a movie and then it comes out to be utter shit. And so they've got to go in and save it because they've spent $65 million on it. But it's like, when you're hiring someone like Zack Snyder, let him do his thing. Clearly, when he's just unshackled by anything other than a budget, he can do some beautiful shit. Like, just let him work. Let him do his thing if you're going to hire him for something.
Yeah.
So are we ranking? Like, just
we'll say
putting
top
this?
5. I would say upper echelon. Is this in his upper echelon? We'll call it his top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be able to say where in the top 5 it is, but this, especially for it being his second real feature film, I think this is top level for him. I think it's up there with Watchmen. I think it's up there with the Snyder Cut. I haven't seen Dawn of the Dead, but I've heard great things about it. A lot of people would say that is his best movie, and nothing's been good ever since. But I absolutely think this is in his.
I don't know that many Zack Snyder movies.
Watchmen, 300, obviously.
Man of Steel,
Dawn of the Dead,
Oh,
Man of Steel,
was
Batman
hot.
v Superman, the Snyder Cut of Justice League, Sucker Punch, Rebel
Justice
Moon 1
League
and
was
2.
a mess. I don't care who cut it out.
I am with you.
I like the 4-hour. I like his actual version. The first one, I completely agree with you that Joss Whedon reshot most of the movie. Terrible. But his long version that's on Max is
I feel like that
fantastic.
movie destroyed Gal Gadot or whatever.
Unfortunately, I mean, it definitely destroyed Ben Affleck.
Well, he was pretty destroyed before that.
Yeah, but this is the one that like made him realize he was an alcoholic.
Irish
got him
whiskey
sober.
destroyed Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Yeah. So knowing that,
That
those
and J-Lo.
films. Yeah. Yeah. And now she's on the Diddy tapes.
Oh God! But she's hosting the American Music Awards. She's doing great.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So now that you know the list.
I mean, I'd put it in the top 5.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing like I'm not going like crazy for.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Haven't been. And I think the Snyder trilogy, us covering that, maybe it was the Snyder fans that made me even less, like the way you made me feel. But
Yeah, I'm banned from the Snyder Cut Reddit or subreddit because I said something positive about him, and they said you can't say anything negative, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Oh God!
So they just banned me.
yeah.
Yeah,
And they just call me fat.
yeah.
So
Hateful. I hate to tell you the things people call me on social media.
I can't imagine.
But then I screenshot my reply, and then I screenshot their picture, and I'm like, get them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I used to block them out, and then my followers like, we want to know who it is because we want to defend your honor. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
Well,
And then they're always like the best story reply. I posted it in my stories, and it goes from like 500 to 5,000.
yeah.
Nice.
Which is funny because like in real person, you're one of the nicest people ever. Like I can't imagine someone actually going after you for any reason.
Oh,
other
it's
than
usually,
they're funny as
it's
hell.
usually just, why do you say she? I'm like, I just felt like it. Why do you care?
Yeah.
You're so gay.
Uh-huh.
And
I mean, I'm married to a man for 32 years. Yes, I am very, very, very gay.
Insanely gay.
Insanely gay. It's just crazy things like that. I was like posting a show and it was an all gay cast. Like, I wouldn't go to that homo show. And I'm like, well, we sold out the VIP. You couldn't afford it.
yeah.
It reminds me of one of your favorite bits. I won't spoil it because I want people to see it, but you have a bit about that. It's amazing. Where the punchline is we're rich or
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to spoil it. In case-
Yeah, buy a ticket. I'll tell you that joke.
yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but he has an amazing bit along those lines that kills me every time.
I mean, I don't intentionally come after people, but like if you start it, I will end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and if you talk crap about my husband, I'll destroy you. But like
Yeah.
me, I'm pretty thick-skinned. I'll turn the other cheek.
Yeah.
When I run out of cheeks, then I'll just
Yeah.
You got 4 of them. So.
I grew up gay in the 80s in the South, so
Yeah.
I have very tough skin.
Yeah.
But I also can read like an old queen because I am. And it's like I had a grandma that was just like hateful. I'm just like, honey, I can help that skin. It's like, your biggest issue is you can't find a foundation that matches that skin tone. And Alex Headey called about those roots.
Amazing.
Hatred makes your skin look horrible.
It does. And I mean, I can deal with evil on the inside. You take a pill for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be ugly on the outside.
Yeah.
We can fix that.
Yeah. So I do go. I am very critical of Snyder, but I do think this is his most complete film.
Yeah.
Of all the ones I've seen them all, I think this one delivers. It's not a film that I necessarily love,
And it doesn't have a director's cut.
and it doesn't have a director's cut.
Yet.
Yeah.
No, he said it will never have. He said that is the director's cut. There is no other version
Yeah.
of it.
That's funny. Watching 50 Years, we have another COVID, and he's like, starts posting, like, that's what he did with Snyder, like the Justice League. He's like, oh, here's an old picture from, or here's an old frame. It's like, oh, and he'll make the internet go crazy. But I think he delivers here. I think this is one of those movies where after all my research and listening to the commentary and reading about it, like, I was more impressed with it after learning about the budget.
Yeah.
And the fact that, like, they weren't going to give him money, and then he went out and put together a test reel, and they was like, okay, we'll give you money, but you have to do it just like this. And he delivered. Whether or not I like the visuals, I think this is his most complete film. And I think too, like, you see and hear what he's capable of in terms of just like a 2-hour
Right.
like he can do
It's
it.
not even
even
2
that.
hours. It's like
an
90
hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's
hour
an
and a half.
easy rewatch.
Yeah.
It is.
You're like, Watchmen, you're not going to you're like,
No.
let's just watch that again.
Yeah.
I was on a plane to Vegas and watched it, and then watched almost the entire commentary in
Yeah.
one sitting on the flight to Vegas. So, but yeah, I do give him a Sparta. Yeah, I'm not good at it. They would never let me in the army. I would be one of the babies.
That's a good one.
You've got to roll the R.
Oh, give it away now.
Okay, George from the Jungle.
I would be one of the babies they throw in the trash.
Yeah.
I would be one of the adults they throw in the trash.
That's your new stage name, Trash Baby.
Trash baby.
Please welcome to the stage, Trash Baby.
I'm a prom night dumpster baby.
I mean, that hunchback would kick my ass.
Yeah.
I mean, I am
He
weak.
would.
I'm very weak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a movie podcaster. Like, we're just not a a very aggressive breed. But anyway, 6-1 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
What a fun it was fun to finally cover this, and it's summertime, it's hot
Yeah.
outside. Take off all of your clothes except for your what is that, a
Speedo.
Speedo,
Yeah.
and get your swords
Jockstrap.
out and go see James Holiday. What shows you got coming up, my friend?
The big one is June 26th at Analog at the Hutton Hotel.
There you go.
We're trying to find a space that works for the show. It's a modern twist of the old variety show. So we have like musicians, we have drag artists, we have burlesque artists, and me. And there's usually at least one other comedian I like. And the whole idea is like traditionally Nashville comedy shows like, hey, you're my bro. You do my show, I'll do your show. And then
Right.
we'll post it on Instagram and look like we're booked.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, the secret's out.
It's very real.
And so these are actually people that I would pay money to, and buy a ticket to go see.
Yeah.
There's something about them that has a star quality, and I love to bring people like, oh, I think you would like him, and he would like her, and it looks it's not just a bunch of
What? You actually build a show instead of just book random people?
yeah. So
What?
it's a very well thought out. When we give me video screens, I do a lot of AV
Nice.
and things like that, and so I mix music and comedy, and I love burlesque, and I adore drag, and just treating those people like, here's a beautiful green room. Here's whatever you need for snacks. You get paid the minute you get off stage. I'm like,
Nice.
here's your check. But it's a fun night. We'll be drinking. I'll have a DJ. I'm gonna have a game called Stuff My Pink Box, and,
Hell yes.
where you can put little question answer things in there, and if I draw your name, you get a free shot with me.
Nice.
But you have to come up on the stage and actually ask the question.
Nice.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, we call it pink box privilege.
That's amazing.
I love it.
You don't get to touch my pink box without something. You have to give me something before I give you. But it's just a fun night. And like I go around, I do shots with people in the crowd. I have a lot of people from social media that come. I got a guy coming from Dallas.
Nice.
Amazing.
He's like, I'm flying in. I'm like, okay, come to that one. So, and Analog, if you've never been to Analog, it's a beautiful listening space.
I've heard it's great.
It's like all like crushed velvet
Yeah.
and big,
love that.
big chandeliers. And the sound is like all Bose and like really good speakers. And they'll set up a whole band. Like I may have a drummer come and do live drumming with one song I'm doing.
Nice.
Eventually the show's going to develop into I'm slowly getting my hard 30 of comedy along with a 15 of music and crowd work, so that I can, people are like, when I posted the first show, they're like, when you coming to Australia? I'm like, that's my Australian accent.
Wonderful.
I'm like, oh, I got to have a few more than 5 people that want to come see me for me to justify that. So we're just trying to build the dream and see if it happens.
Yeah. And what's the date?
June 26th. It's a Thursday night. The doors are at 7. It's a listening room, so there's like couches, and then there's small tables and booths, and then high tables, and there's balconies on both sides.
Nice.
We'll be entering from a 30-foot staircase from the green room. And like the green room has like 4 big mirrors, a giant bathroom. You have a living room. It's like, it's not, you know, most of the shows like, here's a dusty closet.
Yeah.
Never mind the empty beer
cans.
kegs.
If there even is a green room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can stand by the bar. Watch out, someone just threw up.
Mm-hmm.
When that sells out and you can't get tickets to that, you should come see me at the Flamingo Lounge the same night here in Nashville. And then before that, on June 13th, I will be doing Stone Cold Sober at Third Coast Comedy Club. So y'all come out to that as well. It's a great show.
All those are great shows.
Do you know which one you're going to be?
I do, but it's now become a mystery. Like the audience has to guess who's sober. So I'm not going to tell you which one I'm going to be, but it'll be enjoyable.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess I couldn't do my bit about quitting drinking anymore.
No, you could. You could be the sober one.
Okay.
It'd be a giveaway.
I keep getting invites to that show. I just haven't had time. But
you should do it. It's a great show.
Well,
It's fun.
go see my friends. Hilarious people. James puts on a hell of a show.
He does.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having.
It was a blast.
Absolutely.
Hope you come back again.
I'm sure.
Thank you all. Love you. I'm Kyle.
I'm Seth.
I'm James.
Bye.
The Movie Wars.